bill have now caused a lot of thoughts in everyone's lips almost in the entire country. We'll be digesting how and what will be the next step for that, as we'll be hearing from Honorable Bakar Kora of Upper Fladu West to give us more details on that as well. On the international scene, we'll be hearing very interesting stories because Rwanda introduced visa-free from all African countries. Body of a missing Kenyan woman found at a Boston airport. RSF rebels says it's advancing to the capture all the Sudan area. Russia interest in Equatorial Guinea minerals are Putin. And of course, African embassies enclosure, not usually. North Korea leader has just said. The debutants African Champions League in glory. And of course, we'll be going to check what is also happening in the Gaza and Palestine war as well. The death toll in Gaza is rising as Israel press on with its war against Hamas following the attack on 7 October in which 1,400 people were killed in Israel. But now, the life of the children, the teenagers, how and what are they also doing or what has really affected them. We'll be hearing live from the courtesy of the BBC World Service as well in this edition. Be reminded you are listening to Dambefm Daily News on with me, Alhagie Fati. I am your host, and this program will be coming to you Monday to Thursday from 1 p.m. to 1:40 p.m. in this edition. I'm your host Alhagie Fati, and of course Ablaya Jallo has been backing me for the technical backup. This and many other interesting stories are all ahead in this edition. Welcome back to the program, and be reminded that you are listening to Dambefm Live on coming to you live from Turntable, and this is your newsly podcast coming to you from our frequency in Bruceby Turntable. As I said earlier on, my name is Alhagie Fati, your presenter, and this program will be coming to you live every Monday to Friday from 1 p.m. to 1:40 p.m. Now, let's begin the news with the internationals as we'll be hearing from the home front, but let's start at the international scene because the death toll at Israel and Palestine war has risen more than 1,500 people. The death toll in Gaza is rising as Israel press on its war against Hamas following the attack on the 7th of October 2023 in which 1,400 people were killed in Israel. The Hamas-run health minister in Gaza says more than 9,000 people have been killed since the war began. Because of the safety concerns, there are relatively few journalists in the Gaza to document the untraffic things that are really happening to the human being. But the BBC has been speaking to the number of families and eyewitnesses who war. Let's begin our podcast with a teenager who has really explained the fear that the war has really caused.
There's no internet, nor electricity. In the previous days, I and my family had to take the most important decision, which was to evacuate to the south or to stay at home. Actually, we didn't find a car to carry us. Thanks God we didn't. At the moment we were leaving, the Israeli bombs were falling. My uncle was between the civilians and he got injured. Now, many different parts of his body are broken. He can't get a good medical care because there is a lack of the medical equipment. My grandparents' neighborhood is fully destroyed. I can't recognize its features. I lost 2 of my friends yesterday, and I had to cut more than half my long hair because I can't wash it. There is no enough amount of water to spend on my hair. Now, my long hair is electric. I can't be a woman in the way I want. The trees in the balcony are dead because of the explosive. I and my family are sleeping in my parents' room to die together. This is our only wish. I'm not scared anymore. I'm just waiting for my certain death, like others. There's no internet.
Painful stories there. That was the teenager from Gaza, Batum, who has been speaking to the BBC about the difficulties that she and her family have encountered in this Israel and Gaza. But it's not only her, because Sanabel too has been speaking to the BBC about the effect of the war and what it has really cost them as a teenager in this war.
This war doesn't look like any wars that's happened before. When people ask me where is my biggest fear, I was always answer living in wars. I'm terrified to lose my family, my home, in addition my dreams and my ambitions. A lot of people think Israel occupation is merciful when they called us to evacuate the house before it bombed. But most of Gazan people died without warning in their houses. A week has passed since the war began, and there are no basic things that we need to continue our lives. We are here in Gaza without electricity, water, or even the internet. My little sister's birthday has come. There are no shops to buy cakes. I told my mother to make it at home, but we postponed it. We cannot invite her friends because of the violent explosions by Israel occupation against us. Last night was the most terrifying at all. A war exceeds all description and all imagination. Successive explosions, and in every explosion I feel that the time has come to eliminate us. They don't want children to live. Most of the victims are children. Why? Why they see us as monsters who harm them? All we want is to live in peace and achieve our simple wishes, such as to go to the sea, to visit my friend, to buy toys for my little sister. We cannot dream about the future because it is possible in any time to be murdered. From a young girl lives in Gaza, please end the war before it ends us and ends our dreams. It looks like a nightmare. There is no light. The electricity has been cut off for 11 days. No one cares about us. They think we are terrorists. We are truly suffering. Why are they doing this? They are destroying the places that treat us. They want us to die from pain. Please pray for us. This war doesn't look.
That was BBC's reporter who have been speaking to some of the teenagers at the Israel and Gaza war. And then the audio that you heard was Senabel, who also expressed as a teenager the difficulty she and her family have really encountered. But actually, it's not only Senabel and Batu who have really affected in this Israel and Gaza war. Another teenager who is also by the name Rafai has been speaking to the BBC about the devastating war between Israel and Gaza, and now how life has really treated them, because more than 12 days there has been no water, no electricity, no food. It's just entirely business closed, which is really impossible for a human being to live in such signature. Now, let's hear from a teenager who is also and a mom of a young family who expressed the difficulties that she encountered with her family in this Israel and Gaza war. This is the young mother, Rafael, also addressing the BBC.
We saw the bodies of people lying on the ground. There was blood on the ground. On the route we were taking, yesterday, a civilian vehicle was struck on its way to the south. We went past them yesterday. Their bodies and blood were still there. They were civilian cars. The families on board, carrying their food and water with them, all covered in blood. They're still there until now. I can't explain it. Regardless of how much I say, I still can't explain it. We hope that everything will be okay and we'll leave this situation in good health. I'm with my family. They're all children. They're all scared. But I can't even cry in front of them because I don't want to show them I'm weak. I need to be the rock supporting them. When they hear an explosion or any other scary sounds, they come to me and I try to calm them down. I try to tell them this sound is from a wedding ceremony or something. I tell them this is normal, there is no problem, but I'm lying to them, and they're growing up, they've grown up beyond their years. They understand now, they know what's happening. And they know we're lying to them. We saw the bodies of people lying on.
That was a young mother, Rafael, who has been speaking to BBC through an interpreter and explaining how life has really threatened them when the Gaza and this Palestine-Israel war has started. And since then, nothing has really been working well for them. And if you go back to the record of that, is a very serious war between Gaza and then this is going to be Israel and Palestine war. For the past 2 weeks, which brought suffering thousands in recent days. A lot of people have been suffering and there's no food, no electricity. Basic needs in life is becoming a challenging for the people of Gaza. Even the international aid is not entering their country. In Israel, discovery of bodies continued in the communities near the border. Following the attack by Hamas on the 7th of October 2003, it is a reflection of this region that many of those catch up in this conflict are young people. Host Games Ronald hear from teenagers on the both sides in Gaza. Roughly half of the population is under 18, which is making life very difficult for the future of this tiny country. And be reminded, you are listening to Dambefm Live, coming to you from Bruceby Turntable. I am Alhagie Fati with your daily podcast news coming to you. This is our first episode on this channel. Now, let's give our way back to from the Gaza, the Palestine and Israel war and go a little bit to the other part of Africa, Ethiopia, Addis Ababa to be precise. Where Addis Ababa Economic Forum has opened the theme Trade and Investment in Africa. The two-day forum began on Sunday in the Ethiopian capital here, a note addressing the Uganda President Yoweri Museveni. President Museveni said he was happy to note that the participants had gathered in Addis Ababa to discuss business and not politics, and said investment is a very important thing, and then it's a short road to development. This is what the Africans need to do, and they must realize this as now as we speak. And with that, I will take our first commercial break, and when we return, we will go back to the country, perhaps an issue that is on everyone's lips. Proposed former president's bill will encourage impunity. Says one of the activities in the country. But we'll be hearing from Honorable Bakar B. Ekora of Fuladu West, who will be digesting this thing for us for a proper understanding on how these bills will enter the parliament and how it will go, and after how it also can pan out to be for the general public. But before that, let's take a quick break and return back. Welcome back to the program, and be reminded you are listening to Dambefm Live, coming to you from Brusubi Turntable. I am Alhagie Fati, your host, and this is your first episode of the newly News Daily podcast, coming to you live from Dambefm studios here in Brusubi. Now, let's go with the home front news, because proposed former president's bill will encourage impunity. Not my words, but the words of a political and human rights activist, Pasamba Jao, has said the former president bill, if passed in its current form, will encourage impunity in the Gambia. The Gambia government introduced a new bill at the National Assembly seeking to establish lifetime pensions, gratitude and other benefit for ex-presidents of the Gambia and their spouse. The bill would establish an office for former president which shall exist during the lifetime of the former president from the date of his or her ceasing to be a president. If passed, the government within 6 months after a president leave office shall furnish and equip the office of a former president to standard of a cabinet level, and shall employ not less than 4 staff, including a personal assistant, a personal secretary. Reacting to the bill in a standard newspaper exclusive, Pasamba Jao said, as much as I understand the motivation for such a bill, I still find it woeful troubling. The bill in this current form encourage impunity. He said no president who is found wanting should enjoy such a flamboyant pension scheme. Why must we rewarded? Why must we reward former presidents who were corrupt and violated human rights within this space? Jammeh, for example, he has been found liable for over 200 deaths by a commission of inquiry. In addition to this, these are things that people need to reconsider. But now let's see whether we have Honorable Bakari B. Kora online, who will also make us to understand the proper perspective of this former president bill, because we need to know how it will enter into the parliament, and a little bit about the parliament proceedings and how also it will come into force, and what are the mechanisms that as a parliamentarian that he also can help us to understand better. But I only hope and pray Honorable Kora is online. Hello, Honorable.
Yes, hello, Alhagie.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to have you on the online there. We are talking about the proposed bill for former presidents, which is also now becoming a main talking point in the country. But as a parliamentarian, let's hear your own perspective on this, so that you can bring this to the level of a common man understanding.
Yeah, Alhagie, thank you so much for bringing me into your program, which is very, very important. And I think as I speak, thousands of people, around the country are listening to Dambefm. I think this is one of the most important programs, that you people have created in your radio, whereby you can come up with issues, especially burning issues, so that we can discuss it as far as the studio is concerned.
Yeah.
And then what I just want to put across, Alhagie, I am just urging every Gambian, whether you are living in the Gambia or whether you are living in the diaspora, people should not be sentimental on issues. We should be very realistic when issues come up. But in the Gambia, our major problem is always when we are to make analysis. We analyze things based on sentiments. We analyze things based on partisans. And then, those days should have gone, whereby Gambia, we should all come together as one family, and then we work together for the betterment of this country. But Gambia, politics have divided Gambians into 2 groups. Anything that you come up, whether it's something very, very important for the people of the Gambia, but people, they always, politicize things, and then which is very, very bad as far as I am concerned. Like, let's go straight to the subject matter as far as the former president bill is concerned.
Yeah.
Well, there is a lot of hula-ballos, a lot of noise surrounding about this particular bill when it comes to the parliament. That people are saying we are just trying to create that flamboyant life for presidents after presidency, and then some make argument that the former president Jammeh should not benefit from this package. Basically, if I understand that these are some of the arguments that have come up from people, especially those living in the Gambia, that we have given a lot of money to former presidents who have served this country for many years. And also, I just want Gambians to understand one thing. These are the same Gambians who are saying, like former presidents, they should not be like destitute after serving the country for 10 or 15 years. Exactly. They should not be roaming in the streets, just like other countries. It's true. Our economics are not the same. If you want to compare Gambia to Senegal, you get it wrong. If you want to compare Gambia to America, you get it wrong. Our economics are not the same. So that is why if you look at this former president bill, if you go deeply into the nitty-gritties, you go through the bill itself, you will come to realize that, other countries, what they are doing, Gambia, we are not even practicing that, because of based on our economy, because for us, we have a smaller economy. But look, Alhagie, this act was there even during the time of Jammeh. They just brought this bill in order to repeal that act. A former president, you will benefit from health insurance. You understand? You will benefit from a monthly salary, pension, gratuity, you understand, security, diplomatic passport. They'll be giving you 2 maids. All those things are in that act. You understand? This was created in 2006 during the time of Jammeh. Sadauda Kairaba Jawara, the former president, benefited from this package. Jammeh brought him to the Gambia. He gave him a place to stay. Every month, Sadauda was paid $50,000. That was the monthly salary, Jammeh was paid during his time. So people, Gambians, I think sometimes we easily forget about the past, and then we should not have forgotten about the past. President Jammeh, did lots for Sadauda Kairaba Jawara when he was a president, because he deemed it necessary. Sadauda Kairaba Jawara was a former president, so definitely he should not be a destitute in the street. But some people, the way they are bringing the argument that Jammeh should not benefit, I just want to make this point very, very clear to Gambians. Okay. No matter how you hate Jammeh, no matter how you hate Yaya Jammeh, he did a lot in this country, and he has brought a lot of infrastructural development in this country. There are a lot of people who are even shouting, condemning Jammeh, what he did. For me, it's true. I know Jammeh did some wrongs in this country. No one can dispute that. He did a lot of human rights violations. That one is obvious. But no matter what happened, but Jammeh, he too did a lot of good works in this country. And then people should not forget about that. No matter what happened, if we have to talk about Jammeh, if you talk about his bad things, you also talk about his good things. That's democracy. But people cannot be talking about only the negative aspect of Jammeh. For me, I cannot be a party to that camp, to be quite honest. At this juncture, what I can tell you, Jammeh is a wanted man in this country. If he comes to the Gambia, the law has to play its course. Alhagie, I will just give you a scenario, an example. If Jammeh comes to the Gambia, for example, if he is arrested, he is taken to court, he cannot benefit from this package. Obviously. You understand? But if Jammeh goes to court, for example, he is free. I'm just giving an example. But some listeners will say, I am mad. I am not mad, because Jammeh is not guilty until he is proven innocent at the law court. Exactly. I don't know whether you understand me. I'm getting you. So now, if he goes to court, for example, if he is guilty, for example, he will go to jail. We all understand he cannot benefit from the package. But if another president comes and pardons Jammeh, you understand? If he is pardoned, obviously he will benefit from that package because he's a former president. It's just like someone who served the country for 40 years and he is enjoying his pension benefits, for example. After, if that person commits a crime and he is taken to prison, let's say for 2 or 3 years, should he not benefit from that pension package? Of course. He should. It's what the law states. He should benefit from that pension package. So, to cut this story short, what I just want to put across here, Jammeh can benefit from this package until and unless if he passes all the legal aspects. That is, if he comes here, if he is prosecuted, if he is taken to court, if he is free, he can benefit from this package. But if he is not free, it is very, very difficult for Jammeh to benefit from this package. So that's the simple explanation. But there are people who are saying, even the former president, Sadauda Kairaba Jawara, he is late. You understand? But the wives are around. The wives, they can benefit from this package. We all know how they are living in this country.
Yeah.
You understand? So they can benefit from this package, because if you look at the preliminary, this bill will tell you establishment of office for former president,
and spouse,
pension of a former president,
yeah,
gratuity of a former president, accommodation and personal of a former president,
yeah,
protocol services, health insurance of a former president and his or her spouse,
yeah,
vehicle for a former president, security for a former president,
yeah,
vacation for a former president, allowances of surviving spouse of a former president.
yeah.
The surviving spouse, they can only benefit from this package if the former president dies. I don't know whether you understand me.
Yeah, I'm listening.
The surviving spouse,
Yeah.
that is the wives of the president, they can only benefit from this package if the former president died.
Yeah.
If the former president didn't die, for example, if I told that Sadauda Kairaba Jawara is alive, the children and Jeme, they cannot benefit from this package because Sadauda is alive.
Yeah.
But now, they can benefit because Sadauda is late. So you understand. So it's the same thing. So there is nothing new in this. When we say the basic salary of the president,
Yeah.
you know, the former president should have the same basic salary of the sitting president.
Yeah.
We are not talking about the gross salary. We are talking about the basic salary of the president. For example, if the president is paid for $200,000
Yeah.
as his basic salary, you understand? The former president too should be paid the same amount. Just like Jammeh, what he did for Sadauda Kairaba Jawara.
Yeah.
By then, Jammeh was paid for $50,000, and at the end of the month, Jawara was receiving $50,000. So what is the hula ball? What is the noise over this issue? There is nothing that has changed. It's just that times differ. By then, Jammeh was paid for $50,000, for example, every month.
Yeah.
Now Barrow is paid, let's say, for $200,000. Next president coming could also be paid for $300,000. So that's the only differences. And then we don't expect our economy to be where it is.
Definitely.
We expect our economy to grow. Sometimes the way people think, sometimes the way we think is so naive. And I'm urging Gambians, let us be very, very factual. Let us be very, very open in our thinking.
Yeah.
Where our economy is, we don't expect Gambia's economy to be the same. Like in Senegal, if you go to Senegal, the president, wherever he wanted to live, is where he lives. And then the government is going to take care of his bills, everything. And then the president is against from prosecution. You cannot prosecute the president if the president does anything wrong during his term of office. But for us, Gambia, that's not the case. You understand?
Yeah.
So, Alhagie, for me, this former president bill,
Yeah.
I think is very, very timely, because we just want to avoid, presidents, staying over power.
Okay.
And then also we just want to minimize corruption, because if presidents, they don't have anything after presidency,
Yeah.
obviously, that will allow them to remain in power.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if the president, sees that, for example, if I leave office, I will have my gratuity, I will have my pension benefit, every month I will be given this amount of money, I will have a house, I will have 3 vehicles, you understand?
Yeah.
Why should he overstay in power? And interestingly, all those National Assembly members who boycotted parliamentary sitting, the Ministry of Justice have organized 3 days retreat for us at Ocean Bay Hotel.
Yeah.
We were all there. And almost, I can tell you that almost all the clauses, there are few clauses that we disagree.
Yeah.
But what we said during that retreat, we said, okay, now, let's go to the parliament. If you go to the parliament during the plenary,
Yeah.
the areas that we disagree, we can make some amendments. But to boycott the whole parliamentary sitting, that's a betrayal. And as a bona fide citizen of this country, and as someone who loves Gambia, I will never, ever boycott parliamentary sitting. If I have reservations, I have to go to the parliament, and I'm going to express those reservations at the parliament. They boycotted parliamentary sitting.
Yeah.
Yes, and then the bill has passed. Then now, what is the essence? People voted for you. You should be guided by your conscience,
Yeah.
not by a particular individual.
Yeah.
For me, that's my take.
Okay. And again,
I support NPP 100%.
all right. Again,
Anything that President Barrow brings to the parliament, when I feel it's not important, and then definitely I consulted my people when they said I should not vote for yes. If I go to the parliament, I will vote for no.
okay. Okay. Can you help us to better understand, because what also your colleagues are saying, why now, why urgency to this particular bill right now?
fine. Alhagie, you see, I want people to understand one thing. The certificate of urgency attached to this bill, I think some of them are quarreling about that issue. Huh?
Yeah.
They just want to mislead the general public. The National Assembly members who are definitely saying that why is it that the executive or the president have attached, certificate of urgency to this bill? They know it. It's legally. It's not illegal. It's legal. It's a constitutional requirement. If the executive feel necessary or deem it necessary to table any business before the parliament, if there is an urgency, they can attach certificate of urgency to it. And then remember, during extraordinary session, all National Assembly members are paid for that. And we are all paid. Even those who boycotted the parliamentary sitting, they are all paid for that sitting.
Did they take the money
Whether
or they return the money?
They didn't return the money. They all have the money in their accounts.
After boycotting?
After boycotting it, they all received the money. So now, what is the justification of you boycotting that parliamentary sitting when you are paid for that particular sitting? So this is the problem. So now, the executive, they can do that anytime when they have a business before the parliament to put certificate of urgency to any bill. That's not a crime. That's not something unlawful. It's very, very lawful. That is in line with our constitution. You understand? So, for me, their argument is baseless. It has no base. Just that, this is from the executive, and most of them, what they think is President Barrow is the president of the Gambia as we speak. If he leaves office, he is going to benefit. So because of that, that is why most of them, they boycotted parliamentary sitting. But that doesn't tell well. You are voted in office by your people, and then you disappointed your people. So Gambia is very, very unfortunate. Whatever we are doing, whether good or bad, we politicize everything. We politicize everything. Look, even we, the National Assembly members, we have our own bill. You understand?
Yeah.
After serving for 5 years,
yeah,
there is a massive gratuity that you're going to benefit. That one only 5 years. You understand? If you serve for 2 terms, that's pension.
So
and then you're going to.
What is that gratuity that is going to get?
The gratuity that you're going to get.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
It's more than 1 million.
Wow.
You understand?
Yeah.
Serving or just serving for 1 term, that is 5 years.
Yeah.
Your gratuity, you can have more than 1 million. You understand?
Yeah.
That one is only gratuity.
Yeah.
But if you serve for 2 terms, you benefit from pension, and your monthly salary as for pension as Suriname could be more than 50,000 messages. I don't know whether you understand me.
Yeah, I'm getting it now.
So what is the noise? What is the noise over this former president? The president, the highest office in this country.
Yeah.
You understand? Who served the country for 2 terms or 3 terms? You said the person should not have anything after serving the country.
Yeah.
And then look at the initial act.
Yeah.
What was there? If you want to be classified as former president, you have to serve the country for 2 terms. That is 10 years.
Yeah.
So now, in order to avoid all those things, maybe there may be a president who just wants to serve for 1 term and then he wants to step down.
Yeah.
But now we are saying, like if you serve as a president for 1 term, even 3 years, if you step down voluntarily without any problem, that's one is not a problem. You can benefit from the package.
Yeah.
But if you come to power through coup d'etat,
Yeah.
if you serve for 2 years, for example, and you went for election, you lose that election, you cannot benefit from this package. You understand? All these things are spelled out. They don't have any justification, to boycott parliamentary sitting.
Okay.
They are boycotting parliamentary sitting. It's based on hatred. It's based on hatred. You understand?
Yeah.
And it's based on because this thing is coming from the borough administration. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing. Yeah. So they boycotted parliamentary sitting, and the bill has passed. So what is the essence? Yeah. Even victim reparation bill, the same thing. They wanted to boycott it. Even the certificate of urgency, they all voted for no.
Yeah.
And then they are the very people who are saying victims are crying, victims are suffering for many, many years. Now, the executive said we want to compensate the victims by January 2024. That is why we are bringing this bill to the parliament, and then we attach certificate of urgency to it. Why should people say no to that? Because we all know the victims have been suffering here.
Yeah.
Some, they need medical treatment outside. Some, their children need, educational bill. They don't have that educational bill. You understand? Now, the executive is saying by January 2024, we want to dispose this fund to them. Last year, we budgeted 75 million for the victims. You understand?
Yeah.
But that money is at the central bank. Even a dime is not touched from that money, simply because they want to come up with a bill, that will guide them so that they can set up a commission that will distribute that money. But if you give that money, to those people without setting up that commission, who knows? The money may fall into the wrong hands.
Yeah.
So basically, these are, good things that the executive of this government is doing. But people on the left side, they are seeing things another way around. But definitely, I think the victims, they should understand that President Barrow has good intention for the victims. So, Alhagie, for me, I don't want to take much of your time, but this is my argument on this particular bill. And that is why I voted for yes. And even if you bring it to the parliament again, I am going to vote for yes again.
So as we speak right now, finally, what is the stand of that particular bill as we speak right now?
Pardon?
Right now, as we speak right now, it means the bill has been endorsed entirely.
Yes. Yes, the former president bill has been passed. The victim reparation bill has been passed. You understand? All those bills have been passed.
Okay. Honorable, thank you very much for this insightful, detailed updates on this particular bill in the country. We really thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
That was Honorable Bakari B. Kora of Upper Fladu West, who has been talking to me about the former president's bill, which has bring a lot of talking points in the country. It has been on everyone's lips, and then as we speak right now, the bill has been endorsed. Now it's a bill that, as a serving former president of the country, you will benefit equally the current president salary, and of course you will be entitled to 3 vehicles, your spouse, that is your wives, and then you'll be having a staff to cook for you, a lot of stuff. So and then your house will be built to a cabinet standard too as well, so let us not forget that. So these are things we'll do. Well, personally, I just want to make 34 seconds comment on that. I think it is a good move. It will reduce the president's or like their hungry, or if they want to, because sometimes even Jammeh, let's bring the, what happened in 2016. Jammeh really accept and consider the defeat. But what was the problem? Because now Jammeh is not sure of security, so he want to make noise for him to have a safety. So this bill coming, if there's a security in this, I think we'll be seeing people now in the Gambia, they will rule 5 years, 10 years, they will say, no, I'm going down. Because of you have peace, nobody insult you, go and sit and get this same money as head of state. So there'll be no problem in doing a church in the country. But be reminded that this is the first episode of the News Daily on Dambefm with me, Alhagie Fati, and then, of course, tomorrow also we'll hear back with more insightful stories and more international as well, because we are really running out of time. From me, Alhagie Fati, and the rest of the team, Abdoulaye Jallow, and then the entire management of Dambefm, we've come to the end of the program.